The grease under my fingernails never bothered me until tonight. I'm staring at my phone screen, watching my 5-year-old daughter Ivy giggle as she introduces me to her weekend daddy through FaceTime. The man beside her has perfect hair, white teeth, and the kind of smile that sells insurance or destroys marriages. "Say hi to my weekend daddy," Ivy chirps, bouncing in what looks like a beach cafe chair. The stranger waves at me through the screen like we're old friends. My name is Elias Aldridge. I'm 38 years old, and I fix airplanes for a living. My hands are permanently stained with hydraulic fluid, my back aches from crawling through cargo holds, and apparently my wife Vera has been shopping for my replacement. "Who's that, sweetheart?" I ask Ivy, keeping my voice steady even though my chest feels like someone's tightening a vice around it. "That's Caleb. He bought me ice cream and taught me how to make sand castles. Mommy says he's really nice." The camera shifts, and I catch a glimpse of Vera in the background. She's wearing that red sundress I bought her for our anniversary last year, the one she said made her feel beautiful. She's laughing at something Caleb just said, touching his arm in that casual way that means everything and nothing. "Daddy, are you there?" Ivy's voice pulls me back. "Yeah, baby, I'm here. Are you having fun on your trip?" "The best. Caleb says tomorrow we're going to the aquarium and then maybe mini golf. He's really good at mini golf. Better than you, probably." Kids have no filter. It's one of the things I love most about Ivy, and right now it's ruining me. "I bet he is, sweetheart. Can you put Mommy on the phone?" "She's in the bathroom, but Caleb can talk to you. He wants to meet you." Before I can object, the phone is thrust toward this Caleb character. He's probably 40, with the kind of tan that comes from having time to lie around pools. His shirt is pressed, his watch is expensive, and when he smiles at me through the screen, I want to punch something. "Hey there, Elias. I've heard so much about you. Vera's told me all about your work with aircraft. Fascinating stuff, really." His voice is smooth, practiced. This is a man who's comfortable talking to other men's husbands, which means he's done this before. "Have we met?" I ask. "Not officially, no. I'm Caleb Brown. I'm a family counselor here in town. I've been helping Vera work through some things, and, well, we've become good friends. She's an amazing woman. You're a lucky man." Family counselor. Of course. The kind of guy who knows exactly what to say to make broken people feel whole again. The kind of guy who probably has a whole speech about how marriages sometimes need space to grow. "Yeah, I am lucky," I say, watching Vera return to the table behind him. She sees me on the screen and her smile falters for just a second, just long enough for me to know that whatever this is, it's not innocent. "Well, I should let you two talk," Caleb says. "It was great meeting you, Elias. Maybe when they get back, we can all grab dinner sometime." The audacity is breathtaking. This guy is sleeping with my wife and wants to take me out for burgers. Vera takes the phone and her face fills the screen. She's beautiful, I'll give her that. Always has been. It's what attracted me to her in the first place, back when she was just a girl with a camera and big dreams. Now she's Instagram famous, traveling the world, taking pictures of sunsets and overpriced hotel rooms. Her followers eat it up. "Hi, honey," she says, but she won't quite meet my eyes through the camera. "Having a good time on your work trip?" It's not exactly work, more of a creative retreat. You know how I've been feeling stuck lately? I know. She's been feeling stuck for about 6 months now, right around the time she started going to therapy, right around the time she started taking these weekend trips to find herself. "Ivy seems to really like your friend." "Caleb's been great with her. He has a way with kids. It's his job, you know." "Right. Family counselor." "He's helped me work through a lot of things, Eli. About us. About what I want." There it is. The conversation I've been dreading for months, happening over FaceTime while my daughter plays with toys in the background, and my wife's boyfriend probably listens to every word. "What do you want, Vera?" She's quiet for a long moment. Behind her, I can see Caleb entertaining Ivy with some kind of magic trick. He's good with her. That's the part that really gets to me. "I want to be happy," she finally says. "And you're not happy with me?" "I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. With his help?" "It's not what you think, Eli." But her eyes tell me it's exactly what I think, maybe worse. "When are you coming home?" "Sunday night, late. Don't wait up." The call ends, and I'm alone in our kitchen, staring at the empty coffee cup Vera left on the counter this morning. She never puts her dishes in the dishwasher. It's a small thing, but right now it feels enormous. I walk through our house, really looking at it for the first time in months. The mortgage payment that keeps me working double shifts. The family photos on the mantel, most of them featuring just Vera and Ivy from their recent trips. The expensive camera equipment that appeared one day, paid for with money from our joint account. In our bedroom, I open Vera's laptop. She never changed her password. It's still Ivy's birthday, like it's been for 5 years. Her Instagram is full of carefully curated shots from the past few months. Beach sunsets, fancy restaurants, Ivy building sandcastles. And in the background of almost every photo, if you know what to look for, there's the shadow of a man. Sometimes it's just a hand holding a drink. Sometimes it's a reflection in Vera's sunglasses. Sometimes it's a second set of footprints in the sand. I scroll through the comments. Her followers love the mother-daughter bonding time narrative. They don't see what I see. They don't notice that Vera looks happier in these photos than she has in our house for years. My phone buzzes. A text from Tommy, my buddy at the hangar. Saw Vera's latest post. Looks like she's living it up. You okay, man? I stare at the message for a long time before responding. Never better. But I'm not okay. I'm sitting in my empty house looking at pictures of my wife's secret life, and I'm starting to understand that the man I thought I was, the good husband, the provider, the guy who fixes things, might not exist anymore. Tomorrow, Vera and Ivy will be at an aquarium with Caleb. He'll buy Ivy a stuffed dolphin and teach her the names of tropical fish. She'll hold his hand and call him her weekend daddy, and he'll smile like it's the most natural thing in the world. And I'll be here, under the hood of a Cessna, trying to figure out when my life became something that needed fixing. Monday morning hits like a hangover. I'm at the hangar by 6, which is normal, but I feel like I haven't slept in days, which is also becoming normal. Tommy's already there, bent over the engine of a Piper Cherokee, but he straightens up when he sees me. You look like hell, Eli. Thanks. You always know what to say. Tommy's been my friend since we started working here 8 years ago. He's the kind of guy who'll help you move a body without asking questions, then buy you a beer afterward. Right now, he's studying my face like he's diagnosing engine trouble. Want to talk about it? Not really. Tough. Coffee? We sit in the break room with our coffee and stale donuts while Tommy waits for me to crack. He's patient like that. It's what makes him good at his job. She's cheating, I finally say. I figured the Instagram thing kind of gave it away. You saw it too? Everyone's seen it, man. She's not exactly being subtle. That stings more than it should. The idea that my coworkers are watching my marriage fall apart in real time, one carefully filtered photo at a time. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. But that's not entirely true. I've been thinking about it all night, lying in bed while Vera slept beside me like nothing happened. She got home Sunday night like she promised, slipping into bed around midnight, smelling like sunscreen and someone else's cologne. You could confront her, Tommy suggests. And then what? She denies it. I look like the paranoid husband, and nothing changes except now she's more careful about hiding it. You could hire a private investigator. With what money? She's been spending our savings on these trips. Tommy nods like he expected that answer. So what's the plan? I'm going to figure out who this guy really is, and then I'm going to decide what to do about it. The rest of the day, I work on autopilot, replace a fuel pump, inspect landing gear, run diagnostics on avionics systems. But my mind is somewhere else, turning over what I know about Caleb Brown. Family counselor, local, good with kids, expensive watch, the kind of confidence that comes from practice. During my lunch break, I do what any reasonable person would do in 2024. I Google him. Dr. Caleb Brown, licensed family therapist. His website is professional, tasteful. Headshot shows him in a suit, smiling that same practice smile I saw through Ivy's phone. His bio talks about helping families navigate difficult transitions, rebuilding trust, and finding new paths forward. The irony is not lost on me. His office is downtown in one of those converted historic buildings that charge premium rent. His reviews are mostly positive, though I notice a few one-star ratings from people complaining about unprofessional boundaries and inappropriate personal involvement. Interesting. I dig deeper, cross-referencing his name with the state licensing board. 2 complaints filed in the past 3 years. Both dismissed, but both involving female clients who felt he'd overstepped professional boundaries. One specifically mentions excessive personal contact outside of scheduled appointments. My phone buzzes. Text from Vera. Working late tonight. Don't wait up. Leftover pizza in the fridge for you and Ivy. It's Tuesday. Her therapy appointments are Tuesdays. I call the daycare where we pick up Ivy after school. Hi, this is Elias Aldridge, Ivy's dad. I'm running late today. Has anyone else picked her up? Oh yes, Mr. Aldridge. Your wife got her about an hour ago. They left with that nice man who's been helping with pickup lately. Dr. Brown, I think? Ivy was so excited to see him. My hands are shaking when I hang up the phone. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're picking up my daughter together like they're already a family. Tommy finds me in the parking lot, sitting in my truck, staring at nothing. You okay? They picked up Ivy together. From daycare. Shit. Yeah. What are you going to do? I'm going to follow them. Tommy gets in the passenger seat without being asked. Where to? I already know where they're going. Vera posted about it this morning. Family fun night at Sunset Mini Golf. Sometimes you need to be spontaneous. The place is 20 minutes away, one of those family entertainment complexes with mini golf, go-karts, and an arcade. When we pull into the parking lot, I spot Vera's car immediately. Through the chain-link fence, I can see them on the mini golf course. Vera's taking pictures while Caleb helps Ivy line up a putt. They look like a family. A happy family. This is messed up, Tommy says. Yeah. I mean, the guy's literally dating your wife and playing daddy to your kid. I know. And she's posting about it online like it's normal. I know, Tommy. So what's the plan? I watch Caleb pick up Ivy and spin her around after she makes her putt. She's laughing, arms around his neck, and for a moment, I forget to be angry. I'm just sad. Sad that my daughter has found someone who makes her laugh like that, and it's not me. I'm going to destroy him, I say. Tommy looks at me sideways. What do you mean, destroy him? I mean, I'm going to find out everything there is to know about Dr. Caleb Brown. His history, his finances, his other clients, his professional complaints, and then I'm going to use it. Eli, you need to be careful. You could get in serious trouble. I'm already in serious trouble. My wife is cheating on me with my daughter's therapist, and everyone in town knows about it except me. How much worse can it get? We sit there for another 20 minutes, watching my family that's not my family anymore. When they finally head toward the parking lot, Tommy and I duck down in the truck like a couple of teenagers. As they walk past, I hear Ivy's voice. Can Caleb come to dinner at our house? Please, Mommy? We'll see, sweetheart. Daddy might not be ready for that yet. But Caleb's so much fun, and he doesn't smell like airplane grease. Kids. No filter. That night, after Vera puts Ivy to bed, we sit in our living room like strangers. She's editing photos on her laptop, and I'm pretending to watch TV. How was your session today? I ask. Good. Productive. Caleb thinks I'm making real progress. What kind of progress? She looks up from her screen. Understanding what I need to be happy. And what's that? I don't know yet. That's what we're working on. With mini golf? She freezes. What? Ivy told me you went mini golfing after your appointment. Sounds like a fun therapy session. It wasn't part of the session. Afterward, Ivy wanted to do something fun. We? Caleb and I. He's become a good friend, Eli. He's helping me figure things out. By taking you and our daughter on dates. It's not a date. It's complicated. No, Vera. It's really not complicated. You're sleeping with your therapist, and you're using our daughter as an excuse to spend time with him. The words hang in the air between us like smoke. Once they're out, I can't take them back. I'm not sleeping with him, she says, but her voice lacks conviction. Yet? She closes the laptop and looks at me directly for the first time in months. I don't know what I want, Eli. I know that's not fair to you, but it's the truth. I feel like I've been sleepwalking through my life, and now I'm finally waking up. And I'm not part of that awakening? I don't know. Maybe not. It's the honesty I've been wanting, and it cuts deeper than any lie could have. So what happens now? I need time, space, to figure out who I am when I'm not just your wife and Ivy's mom. And Caleb's helping you figure that out? Yes. While you're still married to me. It's not about you, Eli. This is about me. But it is about me. It's about the fact that I work 60 hours a week to pay for the house she wants to escape from. It's about the fact that while I'm crawling through airplane engines, she's taking Instagram photos with another man. It's about the fact that my daughter calls someone else her weekend daddy. I'm going to bed, I say. Eli, wait. Can we talk about this like adults? We just did. You told me you don't know if you want to be married to me anymore, but you want me to stick around while you figure it out. What else is there to discuss? I leave her sitting in the living room with her laptop and her carefully curated life. Upstairs, I check on Ivy. She's sleeping with a stuffed dolphin that I've never seen before. Probably a gift from Caleb. In our bedroom, I lie awake staring at the ceiling, listening to Vera moving around downstairs. Around midnight, I hear her come upstairs, brush her teeth, and slip into bed beside me. Eli, she whispers, are you awake? I don't answer. I'm done talking for tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to start gathering information, and then I'm going to figure out how to get my life back. The next few weeks pass in a blur of surveillance and discovery. I've become someone I don't recognize, the kind of guy who checks his wife's phone while she's in the shower, who follows her to coffee shops, who Googles how to catch a cheating spouse at 2 in the morning. What I find isn't pretty. Vera's been careful, but not careful enough. Her credit card statements show charges at restaurants I've never been to, hotels in towns where she claimed to be working alone, and a jewelry store purchase from last week that didn't result in anything appearing in our house. I set up a fake Instagram account and start following her friends. The comments on her photos are telling once you know what to look for. Her friend Lana keeps posting things like, "You deserve to be happy," and "Some people are just meant to find each other," with heart eye emojis. But it's the bank records that really get me. Over the past 6 months, Vera's spent nearly $8,000 on her creative retreats and therapy sessions. Money that was supposed to go toward Ivy's college fund. I'm documenting everything, building a file like I'm preparing for war. Because maybe I am. The breaking point comes on a Thursday night. I'm at Murphy's bar with Tommy and a few other guys from the hangar, trying to pretend my life isn't falling apart, when Jake Morrison walks in. Jake and I used to be close. Our kids played together, our wives were friends, we'd have barbecues in each other's backyards. But over the past month, he's been distant. Short conversations at work, declined invitations to hang out, the kind of gradual withdrawal that tells you someone knows something you don't want them to know. Tonight, he's drunk. And drunk Jake has never been good at keeping his mouth shut. "Well, look who's here," he says, sliding into our booth uninvited. "How's it going, Eli?" "It's going," I say. "How's Vera? Still taking those photography trips?" Tommy shoots him a warning look, but Jake's too far gone to notice. "I saw her latest post," Jake continues. "Looks like she's really found her artistic vision. Very intimate." "Jake," Tommy says, "maybe you should..." "Should what? Pretend we don't all know what's going on? Pretend we haven't all seen the pictures? Pretend that guy isn't all over her Instagram like he owns the place?" The bar gets quiet around us. The kind of quiet that happens when everyone realizes they're about to witness something ugly. "What are you trying to say, Jake?" "I'm saying your wife's been parading her boyfriend around town for months, and you're sitting here drinking beer like nothing's happening. It's embarrassing, man, for all of us." The words hit like a physical blow, not because they're untrue, but because they confirm what I've been afraid of, that everyone knows. Everyone's been watching my marriage disintegrate in real time, and they've all been talking about it. "You know what's embarrassing?" I stand up, and Jake has to crane his neck to look at me. "Having friends who'd rather gossip about your problems than talk to you about them. We tried talking to you. You didn't want to hear it. When? When did you try?" Jake looks around the table at Tommy and the other guys, and I can see the truth in their faces. They've all been talking about this, probably for weeks. "Everyone knows, Eli," Jake says. "The whole town knows. She's not even trying to hide it anymore. And that guy, Caleb, he's been bragging about it." "Bragging about what?" "About how easy it was. About how you had no idea. About how he's got your wife and your kid wrapped around his finger." Something cold settles in my chest. "How do you know that?" "Because my wife heard it, at the grocery store. He was talking to some woman, laughing about the clueless husband who works all the time and never pays attention to what's happening in his own house." The bar is completely silent now. Even the bartender has stopped pretending to clean glasses. "He said that?" "Word for word. Said you were so buried in airplane engines you couldn't see what was happening right in front of you." I sit back down, not because I want to, but because my legs won't hold me up anymore. The humiliation is complete now. It's not just that my wife is cheating. It's that her boyfriend is making jokes about it in public. "There's more," Jake says, and I can tell he's regretting this conversation but can't stop himself. "My wife heard Vera talking to Lana at the coffee shop last week. She said she's thinking about asking for a divorce. Said she's already talked to a lawyer." The noise in my head is so loud I can barely hear him. "Vera's talked to a lawyer. While I've been trying to save our marriage, she's been planning its funeral." "What lawyer?" "Sandra Fields, the one who handles all the messy divorces." I know Sandra Fields by reputation. She's ruthless, expensive, and she specializes in taking men apart piece by piece in family court. Tommy puts a hand on my shoulder. "Eli, maybe we should go." But I'm not ready to go. I'm not ready to run away from this conversation, from these people who've been watching my life collapse like it's entertainment. "So what would you do?" I asked Jake. "If it was your wife, if it was your kid calling some other guy daddy, what would you do?" Jake looks uncomfortable now. "I don't know, man. I really don't know." "You'd fight for it, right? You wouldn't just roll over and let some smooth-talking therapist steal your family? Maybe. Yeah, probably. Then why are you giving me shit for trying to hold it together? Because you're not holding it together, Jake explodes. You're pretending it's not happening. While you're here drinking beer and talking about work, your wife is out there making plans with another man. She's already gone, Eli. Everyone can see it but you. The truth of it hits like a sledgehammer. I've been so focused on gathering evidence, on building my case, that I've missed the obvious fact. The case is already over. The jury's reached their verdict, and I lost. You know what? I stand up again, fishing money out of my wallet and throwing it on the table. Thanks for the honesty. Really, it's good to know where I stand with my friends. Eli, come on, Tommy says. Jake's drunk. He didn't mean... Yes, he did. And he's right. My wife's been making a fool of me for months, and all of you have been watching it happen. I walk toward the door, but Jake's voice follows me. So what are you going to do about it? I stop and turn around. The whole bar is looking at me, waiting for an answer. These people who've been watching my humiliation, who've been talking about it in grocery stores and coffee shops, who've been treating my pain like gossip. I'm going to fix it, I say. How? However I have to. Outside, the night air hits my face like a slap. Tommy follows me to the parking lot. You okay to drive? I'm fine. You're not fine. You're pissed off and hurt, and you're about to do something stupid. Maybe stupid is what this situation calls for. Eli, listen to me. I've known you for 8 years. You're not the kind of guy who does stupid things. You're methodical. You think things through. Don't let Jake's big mouth turn you into someone you're not. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe being methodical and thinking things through is why I'm in this mess. Maybe while I've been being reasonable, Caleb's been being decisive. What would you do, Tommy? Really, if it was your family? Tommy's quiet for a long moment. I'd probably want to ruin the guy. But you wouldn't. No, I wouldn't, because I've got a family to think about, and they need me not in prison. What if you could hurt him without going to prison? What do you mean? What if you could destroy his reputation the way he's destroyed yours? What if you could make him pay without breaking any laws? Tommy studies my face in the parking lot light. That's a dangerous game, Eli. More dangerous than doing nothing while he takes everything I care about? Maybe. Yeah, maybe it is. But I'm past caring about dangerous. I'm past caring about being reasonable or methodical or thinking things through. For months, I've been playing defense, while Caleb's been playing offense. It's time to change the game. I drive home through empty streets, my mind racing with possibilities. Vera's car is in the driveway, which means she's home from whatever she was really doing tonight. The house is dark, except for the porch light she always leaves on for me. Inside, I check on Ivy first. She's asleep, clutching that damn dolphin. In our bedroom, Vera's already in bed, pretending to sleep. I can tell she's awake by the way she's breathing. I sit on the edge of the bed and speak to her back. I know about the lawyer. She goes completely still. I know about Sandra Fields. I know you've been planning this for weeks. She rolls over to face me. In the darkness, I can barely make out her features. Eli. I also know what Caleb's been saying about me around town, about how clueless I am, about how easy this has been for him. He didn't mean, don't. My voice is sharper than I intended. Don't make excuses for him. Don't lie to me anymore. Just tell me the truth. Are you in love with him? The silence stretches between us like a chasm. Yes, she finally whispers. It's the answer I expected, but it still feels like being hit by a truck. How long? A few months? Since you started therapy. Yes. So this whole time, while you've been telling me you need space to figure things out, you've actually been planning to leave me for him. It's not that simple. It seems pretty simple to me. She sits up in bed, and I can see tears on her face. I didn't plan this, Eli. I didn't go to therapy looking for someone else, but Caleb understands me in ways that you don't. He sees who I really am. And who are you, really? I don't know yet, but I know I'm not happy being just your wife and Ivy's mom. I want more than that. What does that mean for Ivy? It means she'll have 2 homes instead of 1. It means she'll see her parents happy instead of going through the motions. And Caleb, where does he fit into this new arrangement? Vera's quiet for a long moment. He wants to be part of our lives, all of our lives, including Ivy's. Yes. So my daughter gets a new daddy, and I get what? Weekend visits and child support payments? It doesn't have to be ugly, Eli. We can handle this like adults. But it's already ugly. It's been ugly for months, I just didn't want to see it. When? I ask. When what? When are you leaving? I don't know. Soon. After we work out the details. With Sandra Fields. She's just helping me understand my options. Your options for taking everything I've worked for. It's not about taking anything from you. It's about building something new. With him. Yes, with him. I stand up and walk to the window. Outside, our neighborhood looks peaceful, normal. Behind these walls, families are sleeping soundly, trusting that tomorrow will look like today. They have no idea how quickly it can all fall apart. I won't make this easy for you, I say without turning around. Eli, you want a divorce? Fine. But I'm not going to smile and pretend this is some kind of mutual decision. You're destroying our family for a man you've known for 6 months. You're taking my daughter away from me so you can play house with your therapist. And you're doing it all while spending my money and sleeping in my bed. That's not fair. I turn around to face her. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Fair would have been telling me you were unhappy before you started sleeping with your therapist. Fair would have been marriage counseling with someone who wasn't planning to steal my wife. Fair would have been giving me a chance to fight for my family before you decided it wasn't worth saving. She's crying harder now, but I don't feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for Ivy. I feel sorry for the man I was 6 months ago, who thought his biggest problem was working too many overtime shifts. I'm sorry, she says. I know this hurts you, but I can't keep living a lie. The only lie here is the one you've been telling me while you figured out your exit strategy. I grab my pillow from the bed and head for the door. Where are you going? To sleep in the guest room. I'm done sharing a bed with someone who's already moved out. In the hallway, I stop and turn back to her. One more thing, Vera. You might want to tell your boyfriend to be more careful about what he says in public. Small towns have big ears, and not everyone's as clueless as he thinks they are. I leave her sitting in our bed, in our bedroom, in the house I've been paying for while she planned my replacement. Tomorrow, I'm going to start planning hers. The guest room smells like dust and disappointment. I lie awake until dawn, staring at the ceiling and listening to the house settle around me. Somewhere down the hall, my wife is sleeping peacefully after confessing she's in love with another man. Across the hall, my daughter is dreaming about her weekend daddy. At 6 a.m., I give up on sleep and head to the kitchen. Vera's already there, making coffee like it's any other morning. She's wearing my old college t-shirt, the one she used to sleep in when we were happy. Morning, she says without looking at me. Morning. We move around each other like polite strangers, which I guess is what we are now. She makes her coffee, I make mine. She checks her phone, I check mine. The silence is thick enough to cut with a knife. I'm taking Ivy to school today, I say. Okay. And picking her up. Eli, we need to talk about how this is going to work. What's to talk about? You've already made your decision, you've already talked to a lawyer. Seems like you've got it all figured out. It doesn't have to be this way. What way? Honest? Ivy bounces into the kitchen in her pajamas, oblivious to the tension. Daddy, are you making pancakes today? Not today, sweetheart. How about cereal? Can I have the kind with the marshmallows? Sure. As I pour her cereal, I catch Vera watching me with something that might be guilt or might be pity. Either way, I don't want it. Mommy, is Caleb coming to my school play next week? Ivy asks around a mouthful of Lucky Charms. Vera and I lock eyes across the kitchen table. We'll see, baby, Vera says. I hope he can come. He said he wants to see me be a tree. My daughter is going to be a tree in her school play, and she wants her mother's boyfriend to come watch. The absurdity of it would be funny if it weren't so devastating. After I drop Ivy off at school, I drive to the hangar early. Tommy's already there, working on a Beechcraft Bonanza with what looks like a hangover. How'd it go last night? He asks without looking up from the engine. About as well as you'd expect. She admit it? Everything. The affair, the lawyer, the whole exit strategy. Tommy straightens up and wipes his hands on a rag. Shit, man, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, be helpful. What do you need? I need to know everything there is to know about Dr. Caleb Brown. His practice, his clients, his finances, his history, everything. Why? Because I'm going to destroy him. Tommy looks around the hangar to make sure we're alone. Eli, you need to be careful here. This guy's a professional. He's got resources, connections. If you go after him and miss, he could bury you. Then I won't miss. What's the plan? I've been thinking about this all night, turning it over in my mind like a complex mechanical problem. Every system has weak points. Every machine has parts that can fail under the right kind of pressure. First, I'm going to document everything, every boundary he's crossed, every professional violation, every unethical thing he's done. Then I'm going to file complaints with the state licensing board, his professional association, and anyone else who'll listen. That could take months, maybe years. I'm not done. While that's working its way through the system, I'm going to make sure everyone in town knows exactly what kind of man he is. His other clients, his neighbors, his colleagues. I'm going to turn his reputation into radioactive waste. How? Social media. Anonymous tips to local reporters. Word of mouth. Small towns love a scandal, especially when it involves a respected professional screwing over a working man. Tommy nods slowly. That's actually pretty smart. But what about Vera? What about her? She's not going to just stand by while you destroy her boyfriend. No, she's not, which is why I need to move fast and hit hard. By the time she realizes what's happening, it'll be too late to stop. And then what? You think she'll come back to you after you destroy the man she loves? The question hits harder than I expected. I've been so focused on hurting Caleb that I haven't really thought about what comes after. I don't know, I admit. Maybe not, but at least she won't be with him. That's pretty dark, man. Yeah, well, dark times call for dark measures. I spend my lunch break in my truck, making phone calls and taking notes. I call the state licensing board and ask about the complaint process. I call a reporter at the local newspaper who I went to high school with. I call a private investigator who advertises in the yellow pages. By the end of the day, I have a plan. It's not a nice plan, and it's not a plan that the old me would have been comfortable with. But the old me was married to a woman who loved him and had a daughter who thought he hung the moon. The new me is going to war. That evening, I pick up Ivy from daycare like I promised. She's excited to see me, chattering about her day as we drive home. Daddy, why didn't Caleb pick me up today? Because I wanted to pick you up. But he usually comes with Mommy on Tuesdays. Not today. Is he coming to dinner? I don't think so, sweetheart. Why not? Did you have a fight? Kids see everything, even when you think they don't. Something like that. Are you mad at Caleb? I look at her in the rearview mirror. She's 5 years old, innocent, trusting. She has no idea that the adults in her life are about to turn her world upside down. I'm not mad at anyone, Ivy. Sometimes grown-ups just need to work things out. Will you work it out soon? I like it when everyone's happy. I'm going to try, baby. I'm going to try to fix everything. At home, Vera's in the living room with her laptop, probably editing photos from her latest adventure with Caleb. She looks up when we come in. How was school, sweetheart? She asks Ivy. Good. We practiced for the play. Mrs. Johnson says I'm going to be the best tree ever. I'm sure you will be. Is Caleb coming to watch me? Vera glances at me, then back at Ivy. We're still figuring that out. I hope he can come. And Daddy, too. I want everyone to see me be a tree. After dinner, after Ivy's bath, after bedtime stories and goodnight kisses, Vera and I find ourselves alone in the living room again. She's back to her laptop, and I'm pretending to watch the news. We need to talk about Ivy, she says without looking up. What about her? About how we're going to handle this. The separation, the custody arrangement, telling her about Caleb. She already knows about Caleb. She's been calling him her weekend daddy for weeks. That's different. She doesn't understand what's really happening. What is really happening, Vera? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're replacing me with your therapist and expecting me to be okay with it. It's not about replacing you. You'll always be her father. Just not her full-time father. Lots of kids have divorced parents. They turn out fine. Do they? Or do they grow up wondering why Daddy wasn't good enough to keep the family together? Vera closes the laptop and looks at me directly. Is that what this is about? Your ego? My ego? My wife is sleeping with another man, planning to divorce me and talking about giving my daughter a new father figure. And you think this is about my ego? I think you're more upset about being embarrassed than you are about losing me. The accusation stings because there might be some truth to it, but not the way she means. You want to know what embarrasses me, Vera? It's not that you don't love me anymore. People fall out of love. It happens. What embarrasses me is that you've been lying to me for months while you figured out your exit strategy. What embarrasses me is that your boyfriend has been bragging around town about how clueless I am. What embarrasses me is that my friends knew about this before I did. Caleb doesn't brag. He told someone at the grocery store that I was too buried in airplane engines to notice what was happening in my own house. Word for word, Vera, that's what he thinks of me. She's quiet for a moment. I didn't know he said that. There's probably a lot you don't know about him. What's that supposed to mean? It means you've known him for 6 months. You're ready to blow up our family for someone you barely know. I know him well enough. Do you? Do you know about the complaints filed against him with the licensing board? Do you know about the other clients who felt he crossed professional boundaries? Her face goes pale. What complaints? The ones from women who thought he got too personally involved in their cases. Sound familiar? This is different. Is it, or are you just the latest in a pattern? She stands up abruptly. I'm not going to listen to you attack him. I'm not attacking him. I'm asking you to think about what you're doing. You're not his first client to develop feelings for him, Vera. What makes you think you'll be his last? Because what we have is real. What you have is a professional relationship that he allowed to become personal. That's not love, Vera. That's malpractice. She stares at me for a long moment, and I can see doubt creeping into her eyes. Good. Doubt is what I need right now. I'm going to bed, she says finally. Good idea. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day. What do you mean? I mean, I'm going to start fighting for my family, and I'm not going to fight fair. She opens her mouth to respond, then closes it. She knows me well enough to recognize when I'm serious. After she goes upstairs, I sit in the dark living room with my phone, scrolling through Caleb's professional website. His smiling face stares back at me from the screen, confident and self-satisfied. Helping families navigate difficult transitions, his bio says. Well, Dr. Brown, you're about to navigate the most difficult transition of your life. I open a new browser tab and start typing my first complaint to the state licensing board. By the time I'm done, it's after midnight, and I've documented every boundary violation, every ethical lapse, and every professional misconduct I can think of. It's just the beginning. 3 weeks later, my plan is working better than I dared hope. The complaint to the licensing board triggered an investigation. The anonymous tip to the local newspaper resulted in a story about professional boundaries and public trust that didn't name Caleb specifically, but included enough details that anyone paying attention would know exactly who they were talking about. But the real damage is happening at street level, in the gossip networks that keep small towns running. Word is spreading that the good doctor has been mixing business with pleasure, and in a community where everyone knows everyone, reputation is everything. I'm documenting the fallout from my usual table at Murphy's Bar, where the conversation has shifted from my humiliation to Caleb's downfall. I heard he's lost 3 clients this week, Jake Morrison says, sliding into the booth across from me. We're talking again, sort of. Turns out being the guy who exposes the town's biggest scandal buys you a lot of forgiveness for previous awkwardness. Where'd you hear that? My wife's friend Carol went to him. She said she doesn't feel comfortable seeing a therapist who can't maintain professional boundaries. Smart woman. Yeah, well, word's getting around. People are starting to ask questions about his other relationships with female clients. Tommy joins us, carrying 3 beers and wearing a grin. You guys hear about the medical building? What about it? Landlord's not renewing Caleb's lease. Apparently there have been complaints from other tenants about the unprofessional atmosphere in his office. I take a long drink of beer and try not to smile. The complaints to the landlord were anonymous, of course. Concerned citizens worried about the reputation of the building, nothing traceable back to me. That's got to hurt, Jake says. Office rent downtown isn't cheap. Neither is starting over, I reply. My phone buzzes with a text from the private investigator I hired. Call me, found something interesting. I excuse myself and step outside to make the call. What have you got, Rick? Your boy Caleb's got a history. This isn't his first rodeo. What do you mean? He's been practicing for 12 years. In that time, he's had his license suspended twice in other states for boundary violations with clients. Both times involved female clients going through divorces. My heart starts racing. Can you prove it? I've got the disciplinary records. Public information, if you know where to look. Seems like our good doctor has a type. Send me everything. Already in your email, but Eli, this is nuclear level stuff. If this gets out, it won't just hurt his reputation, it'll end his career. Good. You sure about this? Once you pull this trigger, there's no taking it back. I look through the bar window at Jake and Tommy, at the other guys from the hangar, at the normal people living normal lives. A month ago, I was one of them. Now I'm standing in a parking lot planning the complete destruction of another human being. I'm sure. Your call. The files are waiting for you. Back inside, I finish my beer and make my excuses. At home, Vera's in the living room with Ivy, helping her practice lines for the school play. Hi, Daddy. Want to hear me be a tree? Sure, sweetheart. Ivy stands in the middle of the living room and spreads her arms wide. I am a mighty oak, she declares in her most dramatic 5-year-old voice. I have stood here for 100 years, watching the world change around me. That's beautiful, baby. Caleb helped me practice yesterday. He says I'm a natural actress. Vera shoots me a warning look, but I just smile and clap for Ivy's performance. When's the play again? Friday night, Vera says. 7 o'clock in the school auditorium? I'll be there. So will Caleb, Ivy announces. Mommy said he's coming to watch me be a tree. Did she now? That night, after Ivy's in bed, I sit in the guest room with my laptop and read through Rick's files. The pattern is clear and damning. Caleb Brown has been seducing vulnerable female clients for over a decade. Divorced women, women in crisis, women looking for someone to help them rebuild their lives. The disciplinary records paint a picture of a predator who uses his professional position to identify and exploit emotionally vulnerable women. In Colorado, he lost his license for 2 years after a client filed a complaint alleging he'd initiated a private relationship during therapy sessions. In Arizona, he was suspended for 6 months for inappropriate personal involvement with multiple clients. Both times, he'd moved to a new state and started fresh. New practice, new clients, new hunting ground. Vera isn't his first victim, and if I don't stop him, she won't be his last. I spend the next hour crafting emails to local reporters, medical boards, and professional associations. By morning, Caleb's history will be public knowledge. By afternoon, his career will be over. But first, I want to see his face when his world collapses. Friday evening arrives gray and cold, with the kind of drizzle that makes everything look depressing. The school auditorium is packed with parents, grandparents, and siblings, all there to watch their kids perform in the annual spring play. I arrive early and save seats in the third row. Vera shows up 10 minutes later with Caleb in tow. He's wearing a suit and carrying flowers for Ivy, playing the part of the devoted stepfather-to-be. They sit 2 rows behind me. I can feel Vera's eyes on the back of my head, but I don't turn around. The play is exactly what you'd expect from an elementary school production. Kids forget their lines, costumes fall apart, and parents record everything on their phones. Ivy is magnificent as her tree, delivering her lines with the confidence of someone who knows she's the star of the show. During intermission, Caleb approaches me. Eli, good to see you. Ivy's doing great up there. Yeah, she is. Listen, I know this situation is awkward for everyone, but I want you to know that I care about Ivy very much. I'd never try to replace you as her father. He's smooth, I'll give him that. Standing here in his expensive suit, talking about my daughter like he has any right to an opinion about her future. That's good to know, Caleb. Can I call you Caleb? Of course. I've been doing some research on you, Caleb. Interesting career you've had. His smile falters slightly. Oh. Colorado was rough, wasn't it? That complaint from Mrs. Patterson about inappropriate physical contact during therapy sessions? The color drains from his face. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do, and Arizona. Dr. Martinez filed a pretty detailed report about your pattern of targeting vulnerable female clients. He looks around the crowded lobby, realizing that people are starting to notice our conversation. You need to be very careful about making accusations you can't prove, he says quietly. I'm not making accusations, Caleb. I'm stating facts, public record facts that anyone can verify with a simple internet search. What do you want? I want you to stay away from my family. It's too late for that. Vera loves me. Does she? Or does she just think she does because you're professionally trained to make vulnerable women fall in love with you? You don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know you've done this before, and I know you'll do it again. The only question is whether you're going to do it from here or from whatever rock you crawl under next. The lights flicker, signaling the end of intermission. This conversation isn't over, Caleb says. Yes, it is. I walk back to my seat, leaving him standing in the lobby. 2 rows behind me, I hear Vera asking him what's wrong. I can't hear his response, but I can hear the tension in his voice. The second half of the play passes in a blur. All I can think about is the email I sent this morning to the local newspaper, complete with copies of Caleb's disciplinary records and a detailed timeline of his relationship with Vera. After the play, parents crowd the stage to congratulate their kids. Ivy runs to me first, still wearing her tree costume. Daddy, did you see me? Was I good? You were perfect, sweetheart. The best tree I've ever seen. Vera and Caleb approach, and I can see the worry in Vera's eyes. Ivy, you were wonderful, Caleb says, handing her the flowers. Thank you. Are you coming to the cast party? I don't think so, sweetheart. I have some work to take care of. But you promised. I know, and I'm sorry. But sometimes grown-ups have to handle important things. Ivy's face falls, and I feel a stab of guilt. Whatever I think of Caleb, Ivy cares about him. But that's not my fault. That's Vera's fault for letting him into our daughter's life before she knew who he really was. Come on, Ivy, Vera says. Let's go to the party. Daddy, are you coming? Wouldn't miss it. The cast party is in the school cafeteria, with punch and cookies and proud parents taking pictures. I stay close to Ivy, helping her out of her costume and listening to her chatter about the performance. Vera pulls me aside near the punch bowl. What did you say to Caleb? Just making conversation. He's been acting strange all evening, distracted, worried about something. Maybe he has a lot on his mind. Eli, what did you do? Before I can answer, my phone buzzes with a text from Rick, the private investigator. Story goes live in the morning paper. Hope you're ready for the fireworks. I look at Vera, at her worried face and her expensive dress and her carefully curated life that's about to explode. I did what I had to do, I tell her. What does that mean? It means you might want to ask your boyfriend about his professional history before you make any permanent decisions about our family. I walk away, leaving her standing by the punch bowl with questions she's not going to like the answers to. At home that night, I lie in the guest room bed and listen to Vera pacing in our bedroom. Around midnight, I hear her on the phone, talking in hushed, urgent tones, probably calling Caleb, trying to figure out what I know and how much damage I can do. By tomorrow, she'll have her answers. By tomorrow, everyone will. Saturday morning breaks gray and ugly, matching my mood perfectly. I'm up at dawn, sitting in my kitchen with coffee and the local newspaper spread across the table. The headline reads, Local Therapist Under Investigation for Professional Misconduct. The article is everything I hoped it would be, detailed, factual, and devastating. It outlines Caleb's history of boundary violations, his previous license suspensions, and raises questions about his current practice. There's even a quote from a former client in Colorado describing how he'd use therapy sessions to initiate a romantic relationship. My phone starts ringing at 7 a.m. Tommy calling to tell me he saw the article, then Jake, then 3 other guys from the hangar. By 8 o'clock, half the town has probably read it. Vera comes downstairs around 8:30, still in her robe, looking like she hasn't slept. She sees the newspaper on the table and stops. You did this. I reported facts to a journalist. That's called transparency. She picks up the paper and reads the headline, her face going pale. You destroyed him. I exposed him. There's a difference. How could you do this? How could you be so vindictive? Vindictive? Vera, this man has been preying on vulnerable women for over a decade. You're not his first victim, and if someone doesn't stop him, you won't be his last. I'm not a victim. I chose to be with him. Did you? Or did he manipulate you into thinking you chose it? That's what predators do, Vera. They make you think it was your idea. She throws the newspaper down and stares at me with something between hatred and horror. You're enjoying this. No, I'm not. I'm protecting my family from a man who makes a living destroying families. By destroying his life? By telling the truth about his life. Ivy wanders into the kitchen in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Why are you guys yelling? Vera and I look at each other, both realizing we've been shouting. We're not yelling, sweetheart, Vera says, forcing a smile. Just having a grown-up conversation. Where's Caleb? Is he coming for pancakes? Another look passes between us. Vera's eyes are filling with tears. Not today, baby, she says. Why not? Because he's busy with work. My phone rings. I check the caller ID and see it's Sandra Fields, the divorce lawyer Vera's been consulting with. I need to take this, I say, walking into the living room. Mr. Aldridge, this is Sandra Fields. I represent your wife in your divorce proceedings. I know who you are. I'm calling to discuss a settlement proposal. I haven't agreed to a divorce yet. Mr. Aldridge, I think we both know that's inevitable at this point. The question is whether we can handle this civilly or whether it's going to get ugly. It's already ugly, counselor. Your client's been planning this divorce while sleeping with her therapist and spending my money on romantic getaways. That's not why I'm calling. Then why are you calling? I'm calling to suggest that both parties step back from any inflammatory actions that might complicate the proceedings. You mean like exposing the fact that her boyfriend is a serial predator? There's a long pause on the other end of the line. Mr. Aldridge, I strongly advise you to retain counsel immediately. This situation has become more complex than either of us anticipated. What's that supposed to mean? It means Dr. Brown is considering legal action against you for defamation and harassment. I start laughing. I can't help it. The absurdity of it is overwhelming. Let me get this straight. The guy who's been screwing my wife wants to sue me for telling people about his professional history. The information you provided to the newspaper contained facts that are part of the public record. Good luck with that lawsuit, counselor. I hang up and walk back to the kitchen, where Vera is making pancakes for Ivy with shaking hands. That was your lawyer, I tell her. What did she want? To threaten me on behalf of your boyfriend. Vera drops the spatula. What? Apparently Caleb thinks he can sue me for defamation, for telling the truth about his professional history. Eli, this has gone too far. Has it? Because from where I'm standing, it's just getting started. My phone buzzes with a text message. Unknown number. We need to talk? Meet me at Murphy's bar at noon. Come alone. See. I show the text to Vera. Don't go, she says immediately. Why not? Because you've humiliated him publicly, because he's angry and desperate, because I don't know what he might do. I thought you said he was a good man. I thought he was. The admission hangs in the air between us. For the first time since this whole thing started, Vera looks uncertain about the man she was ready to leave me for. Maybe you should ask yourself why you're suddenly worried about what he might do to me, I say. At 11:45, I'm sitting in my truck outside Murphy's bar, watching the parking lot. Caleb's BMW pulls in right at noon, and I can see him through the windshield, talking animatedly on his phone. Inside, the bar is nearly empty. Saturday afternoon isn't prime drinking time, even in a town where drinking is a competitive sport. Caleb's sitting in a corner booth, looking like he's aged 10 years since yesterday. I slide into the seat across from him. You wanted to talk. You snake. Good start. Really sets a collaborative tone. Do you have any idea what you've done? I've told the truth about a predator who's been destroying families for over a decade. You're welcome. You've destroyed my career, my reputation, my life. No, Caleb. You destroyed your own career when you decided to use your professional position to seduce vulnerable women. I just made sure people knew about it. He leans forward, and I can see desperation in his eyes. I love her, Eli. I love Vera, and I love Ivy. This isn't some game to me. Love? You don't know what love is. Love is working 60-hour weeks to pay for your family's dreams. Love is staying up all night when your kid has the flu. Love is fighting for your marriage, even when your wife is screwing her therapist. You don't understand what we have. I understand exactly what you have. You have a professional relationship that you perverted for your own gratification, just like you did in Colorado, just like you did in Arizona. Those were different situations. Were they? Or do you tell yourself that every time you destroy someone's family? Caleb sits back in his chair, and for a moment he looks almost human, almost vulnerable. What do you want? He asks. I want you gone. Gone where? I don't care. Another state, another country, another planet, just away from my family. And if I don't go? Then I keep digging. And trust me, Caleb, I'm just getting started. I've got a private investigator looking into every aspect of your life. Your finances, your other relationships, your professional associations. How long do you think it'll be before we find something that's actually criminal instead of just unethical? His face goes white. You're bluffing. Am I? You want to find out? We stare at each other across the table, and I can see him calculating his options. He's smart enough to know that his career in this town is over. The question is whether he's smart enough to cut his losses and run. What about Vera? What about her? She loves me. She thinks she loves you. There's a difference. Once she understands what you really are, that'll change. You're wrong. Maybe, but are you willing to bet what's left of your life on it? Caleb drains his beer and stands up. This isn't over. Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet. He walks away without another word, leaving me alone in the empty bar with a sense of satisfaction I haven't felt in months. That evening, Vera's packing a suitcase when I get home. Going somewhere? To Caleb's for a few days. Until things calm down. Taking Ivy? No, she's staying here with you. I'm surprised by that. I expected her to use Ivy as leverage, or at least as emotional support. Why? Because she doesn't need to see any more of this, because she's been through enough. And because you're starting to have doubts about your boyfriend. Vera stops packing and looks at me. Did you meet with him today? He asked me to. What did he say? He said he loves you. He said this isn't a game to him. Do you believe him? I think about Caleb's desperate eyes, his obvious fear, his calculation about whether to fight or flee. I think he believes it. I think he's told himself that story so many times he's convinced it's true. But you don't think it is? I think he's a predator who's very good at convincing himself and his victims that his predation is actually love. Vera sits on the edge of our bed, surrounded by half-packed clothes. I don't know what to believe anymore. Then maybe you should take some time to figure it out. Without his influence. Is that what you want? For me to come back? It's the question I've been avoiding, even in my own mind. Do I want her back, or do I just want to win? I want our family back, I say finally. I want Ivy to grow up in a house with both her parents. I want to stop sleeping in the guest room and pretending we're strangers. And if I can't get past this, if I can't forgive you for what you did to Caleb, then at least I'll know I fought for us, instead of just rolling over and letting some smooth-talking predator steal my life. She nods and goes back to packing. 20 minutes later, she's gone, and I'm alone in the house with Ivy. Where did Mommy go? Ivy asks over dinner. She's staying with a friend for a few days. Is she coming back? I don't know, sweetheart. I hope so. Are you and Mommy getting divorced? The question hits like a punch to the gut. 5-year-olds shouldn't have to ask questions like that. We're trying to work things out. What about Caleb? What about him? Is he still going to be my weekend daddy? I look at my daughter, at her innocent face and her trusting eyes, and I realize that whatever happens between Vera and me, Ivy's the one who's going to pay the price for all of this. I don't know, baby. Things are complicated right now. I hope you work it out soon. I don't like it when everyone's sad. Neither do I, sweetheart. Neither do I. That night, after Ivy's asleep, I sit in my living room and think about what I've accomplished. Caleb's career is destroyed. His reputation is in ruins. He's facing professional sanctions and possibly criminal charges. I won. So why do I feel like I've lost everything that matters? 2 weeks pass in a strange kind of limbo. Vera stays at Caleb's apartment while I take care of Ivy, and we communicate through text messages about pickup times and school events like divorced parents who haven't gotten divorced yet. The story about Caleb has grown legs. The state licensing board has opened a formal investigation. 2 more former clients have come forward with complaints. The medical building where he rented office space has terminated his lease, and word around town is that he's looking for a lawyer to help him relocate his practice to another state. Again. I'm working late at the hangar when Tommy finds me elbow deep in the engine of a Cessna 172. You need to go home, man. I'm almost done here. It's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday. Ivy's probably wondering where you are. She's at Vera's mom's house, sleepover. Tommy pulls up a stool and sits down next to me. How are you holding up? I'm fine. Bullshit. You look like hell. You're working 16-hour days and you haven't talked about anything but airplane engines in 2 weeks. I straighten up and wipe my hands on a rag. What do you want me to say, Tommy? That I'm having second thoughts? That maybe I went too far? Did you? It's a question I've been avoiding, but it follows me around like a shadow. The guy was a predator. He was destroying families for his own gratification. Someone had to stop him. That's not what I asked. I close the engine cowling and start putting away my tools. He's leaving town this weekend. Found a practice in Oregon that'll take him on as an associate while his legal issues get sorted out. What about Vera? What about her? Is she going with him? I don't know. We don't exactly have heart-to-heart conversations anymore. When's the last time you talked to her? Really talked? The day she moved out. Maybe it's time to change that. Why? So I can hear about how much she hates me for destroying her boyfriend? So you can find out if there's anything left of your marriage worth saving. I lock up my toolbox and head for the door. There's nothing left, Tommy. I made sure of that. But as I drive home through empty streets, I can't shake the feeling that maybe Tommy's right. Maybe it's time to find out what's left of the life I've been fighting so hard to protect. Thursday evening, I'm making dinner for Ivy when there's a knock at the door. I open it to find Vera standing on my porch, looking tired and uncertain. Hi. Hi, come in. She steps inside, but doesn't go any further than the entryway, like she's not sure she's welcome in what used to be her own house. Is Ivy here? She's in her room, playing. Ivy! Mommy's here! Ivy comes running down the stairs and throws herself into Vera's arms. Mommy, I missed you so much. I missed you too, baby. Are you coming home? Vera looks at me over Ivy's head. I don't know yet, sweetheart. Mommy and Daddy are still figuring things out. I hope you figure it out soon. The house is too quiet without you. After Ivy goes to bed, Vera and I sit in the living room like strangers making small talk. She seems good, Vera says. She misses you. I miss her too. What about me? Do you miss me? Vera's quiet for a long moment. I miss the man you used to be. What's that supposed to mean? I mean, the man I married wouldn't have destroyed someone's life out of revenge. The man you married wouldn't have had to. His wife wouldn't have been sleeping with her therapist. So this is my fault? This is both our faults, Vera. You for cheating, me for how I handled it. She looks surprised by the admission. You really believe that? I believe I could have handled this differently. I believe I let anger and humiliation turn me into someone I don't like very much. But you'd do it again. It's not a question. Oh, to protect my family? Yeah, probably. Even knowing what it cost us? What did it cost us, Vera? A marriage that was already over? A relationship with a man who's made a career out of manipulating vulnerable women? It cost us any chance of working this out like adults. We could still work it out. She shakes her head. No, we can't. Too much has happened. Too much damage has been done. By me or by him? By all of us. We sit in silence for a while, listening to the house settle around us. He's leaving, she says finally. I heard. He asked me to go with him. My chest tightens. Are you? I don't know. A month ago I would have said yes without hesitation. Now what? Now I don't know what to believe about him, about us, about anything. That's what predators do, Vera. They make you question your own judgment. Stop calling him that. What should I call him? The man who's done this exact same thing to women in 3 different states? I don't want to talk about Caleb. Then what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about us, about whether there's any way to fix this. I look at my wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, sitting on our couch in our living room, and I try to remember what it felt like when we were happy. Do you want to fix it? I want to fix it. That's not the same thing. No, it's not. So where does that leave us? I think it leaves us getting divorced. The words hit harder than I expected, even though I've been preparing for them for weeks. What about Ivy? We'll figure out custody. 50-50 probably. She needs both of us. And Caleb? What about him? If you don't go to Oregon with him, what happens to that relationship? I think that relationship was over the moment I read that newspaper article. Because of what I did to him? Because of what he did to himself, and to me, and to all those other women. It's the closest thing to an apology I'm going to get, and maybe it's enough. I'm sorry, I say. For what? For letting it get this ugly. For turning our marriage into a war zone. For putting Ivy through this. I'm sorry, too. For lying to you. For betraying our family. For falling for someone who was manipulating me. We sit there with our mutual apologies, and I wonder if this is what closure feels like. So what happens now? Now I go back to Caleb's place and pack my things? Tomorrow I'll start looking for an apartment. And then? And then we figure out how to be divorced parents instead of married people. She stands up to leave, and I walk her to the door. Vera? Yeah? For what it's worth, I really did love you. I still do. I know, I loved you too. Maybe I still do. But sometimes love isn't enough. No, sometimes it isn't. She kisses my cheek, a gesture so familiar and so final that it breaks my heart all over again. Take care of yourself, Eli. You too. I watch her drive away, and then I go upstairs to check on Ivy. She's sleeping peacefully, clutching that stuffed dolphin that started this whole mess. Tomorrow, I'll have to explain to my daughter that Mommy and Daddy are getting divorced, that she'll have 2 homes instead of 1, that sometimes families break apart even when everyone loves each other. But tonight, I just sit in the chair next to her bed and watch her sleep, and try to figure out how to rebuild a life from the wreckage of the one I destroyed trying to save. 6 months later, I'm sitting in a courtroom wearing the only suit I own, listening to a judge make our divorce official. Vera's on the other side of the room with her new lawyer. She fired Sandra Fields after the whole Caleb debacle, looking professional and distant. The proceedings are mercifully brief. No-fault divorce, 50-50 custody, equitable distribution of assets. The judge signs the papers, and just like that, 15 years of marriage become a legal document filed in a courthouse drawer. Outside, Vera and I stand on the courthouse steps like actors who've forgotten their lines. Well, she says, that's that. Yeah. You okay? I will be. You? Same. We've gotten good at these awkward conversations over the past few months. Polite, careful, designed to avoid any topic that might lead to actual emotion. How's the new apartment? Good. Ivy likes having her own room there. And work? Busy. The photography business is picking up. She's been rebuilding her career, focusing on family portraits and wedding photography instead of the travel stuff that required a boyfriend with flexible ethics and deep pockets. That's good. What about you? Still working too much? Someone's got to pay for 2 households now. It comes out more bitter than I intended, and I see her flinch. I'm sorry, that wasn't fair. It's okay, you're not wrong. My phone buzzes with a text from Tommy. How'd it go? I type back. It's done. Beer? Rain check. I've got Ivy tonight. Vera's watching me text. Tommy? Yeah, he wanted to know how it went. Tell him I said hi. I will. Another awkward silence. I should go, she says. I'm picking up Ivy from school today. Right. My weekend starts tomorrow. She's excited. She wants to show you her science project. What's it about? Volcanoes. Very explosive. We both smile at that, a moment of shared amusement that feels like a glimpse of who we used to be. I'll see you Sunday night, I say. See you Sunday. I watch her walk to her car, a used Honda, much more practical than the BMW she used to drive, and I feel something that might be peace. That evening, Ivy and I are having dinner at our kitchen table when she asks the question I've been dreading. Daddy, are you sad that you and Mommy got divorced? I put down my fork and look at my daughter. She's 7 now, old enough to understand more than I wish she had to. Sometimes, sweetheart. Are you sad about it? Sometimes too, but not as much as I used to be. Why's that? Because you and Mommy are happier now. When you lived together, you were always mad or sad. Now you're just regular. Regular. I'll take it. Do you ever miss Caleb? I ask, because I need to know. Ivy thinks about it seriously, the way kids do when they're trying to give an honest answer to a complicated question. A little bit. He was nice to me, but I think he made Mommy sad too, even when she thought he made her happy. That's very wise, Ivy. Mommy says he moved far away, and we won't see him anymore. How do you feel about that? Okay, I guess. I have you and Mommy. That's enough daddies for me. After dinner, we work on her volcano project together. It's a simple thing, baking soda and vinegar in a papier-mâché mountain, but watching her face light up when it erupts makes me remember why I fought so hard to keep my family together, even if I couldn't keep it the way it was. Later, after Ivy's in bed, I sit in my living room with a beer and think about the past year. The discovery, the investigation, the confrontation, the destruction, the aftermath, all of it leading to this moment, sitting alone in a house that's too big for just me and my daughter on alternating weekends. Did I win? Did I lose? Or did I just survive? My phone rings. Unknown number, but I recognize the area code. Oregon. Hello? Eli. It's Caleb. The sound of his voice hits me like a physical blow. I haven't heard from him since that day at Murphy's bar, and I thought I never would again. What do you want? I wanted to apologize. For what? For everything. For what I did to your family, for what I did to Vera, for what I did to you. He sounds different, smaller, defeated. Okay. I've been in therapy myself. Real therapy, not the kind I was pretending to practice. And I've come to understand some things about myself that I didn't want to face before. Such as? Such as the fact that you were right. About everything. I am a predator. I have been using my professional position to manipulate vulnerable women for years, and I convinced myself it was love because the alternative was admitting what I really was. I don't know what to say to that. I'm not calling to ask for forgiveness, he continues. I know that's not possible. I'm calling to tell you that I'm getting help, and I'm not practicing anymore. I'm working as a night security guard and trying to figure out how to be a better person. Why are you telling me this? Because you saved those women from me. All the women I would have hurt if you hadn't stopped me, and I wanted you to know that. The line goes quiet for a moment. I also wanted you to know that Vera never stopped loving you, even when she thought she loved me. She talked about you all the time, about what a good father you were, about how hard you worked for your family. I was jealous of that, of the way she looked when she talked about you. Caleb, I'm not trying to get you back together. I know I destroyed that possibility. I'm just telling you the truth because I owe you that much. Okay. Take care of yourself, Eli, and take care of Ivy. She's a special kid. I will. Goodbye. Goodbye. I sit there for a long time after he hangs up, trying to process what just happened. An apology from the man who destroyed my marriage. An admission that I was right about everything. A confession that might have changed everything if it had come 6 months earlier. But it didn't come 6 months earlier. It came now, when it's too late to matter. Or maybe it's not too late. Maybe it's exactly the right time. Sunday evening, when Vera comes to pick up Ivy, I tell her about Caleb's call. He called you? Last night. He wanted to apologize. What did he say? I tell her everything, watching her face for some sign of what she's thinking. He said I never stopped loving you. I finish. He was right about that. Was he? I never stopped loving you, Eli. Even when I hated you for what you did to him, I never stopped loving you. Then why are we divorced? Because love isn't always enough. Because sometimes people hurt each other too badly to come back from it. Because sometimes the best thing you can do for someone you love is let them go. Is that what you're doing? Letting me go? I'm trying to. What if I don't want to be let go? She looks at me with something that might be hope or might be sadness. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe we gave up too easily. Maybe we let anger and pride and hurt feelings make our decisions for us. Eli, I'm saying maybe we owe it to ourselves, to Ivy, to try again. Not to go back to what we were, but to see if we can build something new. It would be complicated. Everything worth doing is complicated. It would take time. We've got time. It might not work. It might not, but it might. She's quiet for a long moment, and I can see her weighing possibilities, calculating risks, trying to decide if she's brave enough to try again. What would that look like? She asks finally. I don't know. Dinner sometime, just the two of us. See if we can remember how to talk to each other without lawyers present. And if we can, then maybe we try something else. And if we can't, then at least we'll know we tried. Okay. Okay? Okay, let's have dinner, just dinner, and see what happens. When? Next Friday, after Ivy goes to bed at my place? It's a date. It's dinner. Right, dinner. But we're both smiling now, and for the first time in a year, I feel something that might be hope. 2 weeks later, I'm standing in Vera's new kitchen, helping her make dinner while Ivy plays in the living room. It's our 4th dinner together, and we're starting to remember how to be around each other without walking on eggshells. Hand me that spoon, she says, and when I do, our fingers brush for just a moment. Sorry. It's okay. But neither of us pulls away immediately, and I think maybe we're both remembering what it felt like when touching each other was natural instead of awkward. Eli? Yeah? I've been thinking about what you said, about building something new instead of trying to go back to what we were. And I think you might be right. We can't go back. Too much has happened. But maybe we can go forward. What does that mean? It means maybe we should try dating each other. Really dating. Like we're two people who just met and are trying to figure out if we like each other. Do you think we'd like each other if we just met? I don't know. Want to find out? I look at this woman I've known for half my life. This woman I married and divorced and am maybe falling in love with all over again. And I realize that I have no idea what's going to happen next. And for the first time in a long time, that feels like a good thing. Yeah, I say. I'd like to find out. From the living room, Ivy calls out, Are you guys going to get married again? Vera and I look at each other and start laughing. We'll let you know, sweetheart, Vera calls back. Okay, but if you do, can we have a big party? We'll think about it. I take Vera's hand, and this time neither of us pulls away. So, I say, what happens now? Now we see if we can fall in love twice. Think it's possible? I think anything's possible. And looking at her face, at the hope and uncertainty and possibility written there, I think she might be right. 6 months after that, we're standing in the same courthouse where our divorce was finalized, but this time we're getting remarried. It's a small ceremony, just Ivy, Tommy, Vera's mom, and a justice of the peace who seems amused by the whole situation. Do you, Elias, take Vera to be your wife again? I do. Again. Do you, Vera, take Elias to be your husband again? I do. Again. Then by the power vested in me by the state, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Again. You may kiss the bride. Again. And I do. Again. Afterward, we have the big party Ivy requested, in the backyard of our house, the house we're all living in together again, as a family that's been broken and rebuilt, and is somehow stronger for having survived the breaking. During the reception, Tommy pulls me aside. So how does it feel? How does what feel? Being married to the same woman twice? Like the luckiest man alive. Even after everything that happened. Especially after everything that happened. Because the truth is, we're not the same people we were before. We're people who've been tested and who've failed and who've found a way to forgive each other and ourselves. We're people who know that love isn't always enough, but that sometimes, if you're very lucky and very stubborn and very willing to do the hard work of rebuilding trust, it can be. Later that night, after the guests have gone home and Ivy's asleep in her room, Vera and I sit on our back porch, looking at the stars and talking about the future. "Any regrets?" she asks. "About what?" "About fighting so hard for us. About destroying Caleb. About everything." I think about it seriously, because it's a serious question. I regret the pain we caused each other. I regret that Ivy had to go through her parents' divorce. I regret that it took us so long to figure out how to talk to each other. But I don't regret fighting for my family, even when it meant becoming someone I didn't like, even when it meant losing everything to save it. Do you think we would have found our way back to each other if you hadn't done what you did? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I think we would have, she says. Eventually. But it would have taken longer, and we would have hurt each other more. So you're okay with how it all played out? I'm okay with where we ended up. We sit in comfortable silence for a while, listening to the night sounds of our neighborhood, of our life, of our second chance. Eli? Yeah? I love you, again. I love you too, still. And sitting there on our porch, in our house, with our daughter sleeping safely upstairs, I realize that sometimes the best way to save something is to be willing to destroy it completely and build it back from scratch. Sometimes you have to lose everything to understand what you really had. Sometimes the end is just another beginning,